Hey folks, Killboy here with the weekly video thing. I'm gonna try to squeeze it into 12 minutes, but I'll probably run over. A couple things. It's been pretty nice. I'm on the Cherohala Skyway Saturday, about 3 o'clock. Obadiah, overlook again. Had a pretty bad accident, I guess, earlier on, about 10 miles down the road. Motorcycle hit another motorcycle head on. 3 people were on the bikes total, and they got pretty banged up, I guess. According to what I was told by somebody that was behind the innocent bike, or the guy that was hit, wasn't doing anything wrong. Somebody just came driving around a turn so far over, he was on the white line on the wrong side of the road, basically a blind turn, and big bikes, and they hit on the right sides actually. Usually when there's a head on, they hit on the left sides of each bike. That's the side that's closest to the double yellow typically, but this guy was so far over that, they hit on the weird side. It's frustrating, man. I feel like I say this over and over and then just don't reach people. These videos, only 5,000–6,000 people see them. And we really I need your help. Try and get the word out, man. If you guys got any ideas, let me know. If you can, spread the word on your forums and to your riding buddies. I think we have the potential to reach a lot of people if we work together, instead of just sitting back saying, man, that's a tragedy. This person was driving along and he wasn't doing anything wrong, and he may be, he's probably messed up for life if he even lived. I don't even know what happened, but it's one of those deals that it's a thing like drunk driving. It's projected onto innocent people, and that's what sucks about it. Most of the stuff that people do on their bikes that's dangerous or whatever, they're just endangering themselves. But driving in the wrong lane usually ends up hurting someone else before it stops, and that's what's really frustrating about it. So I don't know, stickers or something like that. Maybe I'd love to see those little stickers that everybody puts on their helmets, the cruiser crowd in particular, but just everybody has stickers on their bikes and on their helmets and stuff that says different things. I'd love to see the lane crossing kill sticker be as popular as, loud pipes save lives, which is way less of a life-saving issue than people driving in the wrong lane. You want to save lives, then spread the word, stay in your lane. We'll talk about that more next week. I talked about doing something with the GoPro stuff. So we're going to go over some things. The new Hero 3, a lot of you know about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's a little bit thinner. It's basically the same size frontal area. Has a lot of nice new features. The black version in particular has got a glass lens now. I think all the other ones have been using plastic. I mean, it's good polymer lenses, but not as clear, not as hard as glass. Built-in Wi-Fi. It's rough on the battery. Get you a couple extra batteries. They're pretty cheap for GoPro extras. They have some pretty expensive extras, but the batteries are like 20 bucks each. So you can spend 20–40 bucks and have a couple extra batteries and be good to go for a few hours. The built-in Wi-Fi thing, man, if you guys don't think that's significant or whatever, you won't use it. You should understand that it's really handy for setting up the camera. You can do a live stream from the camera to your phone, and before you even start recording. And so you can sort of see what your camera's doing, what kind of angle you're getting off of it on your device. Whether it can be anything with Wi-Fi. It can just be an iPod Touch, not even a cell phone, iPad, iPhones, any Android phone. You can download the GoPro app for free. You turn the Wi-Fi on this thing, it becomes a little base station, and you can send the video to it. But that's very taxing on the battery, so I would not leave that streaming video going while you're actually shooting. You don't need to see that anyway most of the time, so just use it for setup and then turn it off, because the Wi-Fi now uses the battery built into the camera. The old one, the Hero 2, is a backpack, and it had its own battery, Wi-Fi battery backpack thing, so it didn't drain the camera. Now they got it built into the camera, which is nice and convenient, but it's pretty rough on the camera battery. This little housing, it's optional housing that GoPro sells. naked housing. It doesn't really offer much protection for the camera, but it leaves a hole in the side where you can plug in a USB cord. The USB plugs right there, so you can power the camera while it's in the housing. Otherwise, your housing, you can't get inside of it. You have to modify it or something, Dremel a hole in it, which at that point it's not waterproof. So that's pretty nice. It comes with a little extra cover for the lens. I think that came with this housing kit. But you got to be careful. You don't want to put that on the front of a vehicle or anything where it's going to get damaged easily. But the new cameras, the new Hero 3s, they have loop recording. It's a big deal. If you've ever seen those Russian dash cams or police cameras that just continuously record, and you can set it to record 5 minutes or 30 minutes or indefinitely, depending on how big the card is. And all it does, it just records until it runs out of space, and then it overwrites the oldest data. So it's constantly recording, as long as it has power. So you can plug the USB plug in if you're going on a trip or something like that on your bike or your car. You can put it on your handlebars or on your dash, and if anything happens, you stop the recording, you got it. You got 5 minutes or you got 2 hours or whatever, however you got it set up. It archives whatever's going on for you, and if something happens, then you got it. It's a pretty neat thing. But you need power going into it because the battery's only good for like 30, 45 minutes. Some of the stuff I got, one of the big, I think, significant things that they redid lately that maybe a lot of people don't know about is their new suction cup design. It's a lower profile design, and you can take the arm off now. You can take it off the old one, but it wasn't functional without it. Now you can take the arm off, and it comes with an extra little foot here that you can put on there, and you can mount the GoPro right there. And that keeps a nice low profile setup. Plus, it takes a lot of the shake out. Before, you had the arm on there, and it would shake even if you didn't need it. It had to be there, and so there's a lot less shake. We've had a few people lose the GoPros with their suction cups, whether it's the new one or the old one, doesn't matter. There's some issues you got to understand with these things. All it takes is a grain of dirt or sand, or maybe two, in the right place, and you got a tunnel for air to get in there, and it won't stay on there 2 minutes. It'll fall off. So make sure when you're putting these things on, you wipe this off until you can't feel anything on it. I mean, it's got to be. You can have some oils off your hand and body. That's not a big deal. Actually, that kind of helps. But make sure there's not a grain of dirt on that thing, man. Wipe it off real good, and keep doing it till it feels real smooth and clean. Same thing for the surface that you're mounting it to. Clean it or whatever with a rag if you want to, but wipe it with your hand and make sure you don't feel a speck of dirt on it. And I've never had one of these fall off. I've been using them for years and track days and stuff like that, but you gotta understand that you cannot have a speck of dirt, because that's all it takes for these things to leak enough air in there that they'll come off. Surface that you're mounting it to needs to be glossy and clean, not matte or anything like that. It won't work. But it's really, really nice. They got the new small suction cups, low profile. I also found this on eBay pretty cheap. It's a visor clip. It's like for inside your car. If you're going on a trip, you can hang the camera down from that. It's not real good for curvy roads. It doesn't lock tight enough, and the whole camera kind of sways back and forth. But I think it was like $4 or $5, and it's pretty nice if you're not really doing anything too heavy. A few people asked how I've been mounting my GoPro on the camera, because usually I get the video from the camera. I found this little kit on eBay. It had aluminum parts in it, and it came with a hot shoe mount for cameras. This is a metal, I don't know if you can see that there. It's a metal square plate with a spinning disc, so it slides into the standard, flash mount there. And there you go, you got your GoPro on the camera. Of course, it picks up the noise of the camera, so you either want a microphone or put some music to it or whatever. It comes with little aluminum red pieces for dress up. That's just something to kind of differentiate it from other people's. If I'm in an environment where there's a lot of people using GoPros, I can spot mine if I let somebody borrow it or whatever. It also came with this wrench for tightening up the thing, which seems kind of goofy maybe, but you really need it because that base right there that's aluminum, I don't know if you can see that very well, but all those little tabs that are normally plastic, and when you tighten this up, it pulls them together. man, this aluminum one, they're so rigid that if you try to tighten this by hand, it's really hard to get it tight enough that this won't move. So you need to use this wrench to sort of put another, you know, half a turn on it or so, and it'll pull everything together real tight. And that wrench is handy for the other, it works on the regular GoPro stuff too, which I used to keep a 16mm box wrench on hand just for that purpose, but now that I got this, I can use it. But if you're mounting that stuff on the car, even a stock GoPro mounts, sometimes it's hard to tighten them up enough that they won't move if you're in a rough environment or whatever. Talking about how cold it is up top. This is something else I was going to show you guys. It's basically just a battery pack with USB plugs on it for output and input for charging. You can use it on anything that takes USB power, like your cell phones, whatever. But I got it because I like to do time lapses with the GoPro, and sometimes it's got to run for hours to get the time lapse, and the battery in it's only good for, you know, an hour or so. So this thing's 12,000 milliamp hours. That's a measurement of the capacity. That's not how long it lasts, but the one in the battery in the GoPro is 1,000. So that thing's 12 times supposedly more powerful or longer lasting than the GoPro battery. And you just plug it in to the USB port, and it'll power the camera. You know, kind of cumbersome having both these things around. It's not for everybody. But if you do time lapses and stuff, it's pretty handy, and you can use it to charge your phone, things like that too. So that's it. Till next time, guys, be careful out there, stay in your lane, and check us out at killboy.com. Later.